Okay. Hey, Betties. This is PJ Gatch, Senior Style and Beauty Editor at Betty Confidential, and I am with the one, the only, the fabulous. Well, you are.
Well, I am. I mean, I'm only married. No, I tell you what, though. I went to the airport, and I did have my card for one of the airlines. And so I said, he said, just give me your name, and I'll put it in there. So I gave him my name. He says, oh, my God, there are like 300 Mary Wilsons in here. So I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not the only one.
Yes, you are. You're the only Mary Wilson of the Supremes.
Thank you.
We all grew up listening to your music and
Thank you.
feeling it in our hearts, and it's part of our lives.
Yes.
It
yes.
really, really is. How do you feel about this exhibit that's going to be coming up soon?
You know, I've been waiting for this particular museum for a long time, and I tell you why. Because it's been the exhibit has been in what is it? It's toured in America somewhat, small scale, and then we went to Europe. No, we didn't. We went to L.A. Went to oh God, I'm getting like.
It's a long
day.
day.
Where did we go? It's a long day.
You were at the Victoria and Albert Museum.
I tell you where we were. No, what I'm saying is that we were at the Detroit Historical Museum. We did the LBJ in Texas. We did a museum in Long Island Museum, and then the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame actually curated it for me out of my boxes. So what they did once they curated it, we started collaborating. And we talked about let's take it on tour, you know, real basic tour. So they got, as you mentioned, the Victoria and Albert Museum, and it opened there, and it was a huge smash. I mean, it was such a smash that I was like, oh my God, we had royalty there. We had all kind of rock stars. Bill Wyman of the Rolling Stones was there.
Wow.
We had all kind of groups, you know, from England was there, and it stayed there for about 6 months actually. And the report that I got back was that they had more walkthroughs in that exhibit than they had in any other exhibit, and that was so, you know, so wonderful. And then it toured all over England. It went to Bath, Blackpool, just everywhere.
Manchester?
And, no, it didn't go to Manchester. But it was about 7 different museums that it did go to, and it was a huge success. So now we brought it back to the States, and I said we had been waiting for this for a long time because I wanted to introduce the exhibit here on a big scale. And when the Afro-American Museum came up here in Philly, I jumped at it, and my attorney also. Said this is big. This is a good way to introduce the exhibit to America, and so that's why it's here.
I think it's a wonderful story, but I have to ask you something. What made you decide to save everything?
It was from God, a blessing from God. Trust me. As I told everyone here, the story is when each member left, they had to leave their gown because the group was still performing.
Right.
You know, so we had to keep them with the rest of the gowns. And as I ended up being the last person, kind of like the last girl standing, is that close to it?
Yeah.
I was the last person. So
the last hot girl standing.
Well, thank you. As you know, so I ended up with all these gowns, and I put them in boxes. They had been stored at Motown. And but when Motown left Detroit, everything had to be moved out of their building. Now the problem is, everything that was in that building we don't know where they are. So there are like hundreds. It's not hundreds, but you know, it's a lot of gowns that are missing.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, I'm not, and I'm really pissed over it.
Is there any way to track them down?
Well, you know, I've spent so much money in litigation over different things that I was at a point in my life where I just could not put another penny into litigating. So what I've done is I'm just putting the word out. I actually found some on eBay. No, I didn't find them, but my fans did. Our fans did. And they called me up. They said, Mary, we think that we know where a couple of your gowns are. And
wow.
so I'm like, where? He said, on eBay. So they actually funded mind getting the gowns because you had to get them like right away because people were bidding on them, right?
So your fans became detectives.
They came, yeah. They got those. So there's two. I don't know which gowns are here, but they're the ones that were on stage. No, they weren't on stage. They were on stage last night at the museum, and they were turquoise with an African sort of collar out of turquoise beads and just beautiful. They were one of the ones that when I say ones, the set was what I got off of eBay.
You rescued them.
Yeah, I rescued, well, the fans did, and then they financially took care of it for me. So those are one set. There's another pink set that we got off of eBay. And now there's one set that's at the Hard Rock Museum in Vegas. I don't know how they got there, but they're there.
Oh, wow.
So those are all of the earlier ones that have disappeared. So I'm still hoping some kind of way to get them back, to put them with the collection.
How many gowns do you have in total?
Well, it's hard to say because some of them are not in really good. I have one box of just beads.
Oh, wow.
The gowns disappeared. You know what I mean? You know, the material just...
It shattered after time.
Yeah, because they're made on chiffon. So when you have heavy beading on a chiffon, it's not going to last very long. So I have boxes of those. But the ones that are full set, right now I think here they're using 30.
But how many do you have?
Well, I'll get to that.
Okay.
I got to kind of get this straight in my mind too as well. Here they have 30. Usually the gown exhibit is 50. So there are 50 complete sets. Now when I say sets, sometimes there's only one of a set. Sometimes there are only two of a set because of the condition. Because it has had a lot of wear and tear. And it's been 40 some years, almost 50 years.
When you're saying set, you mean three?
Three.
Three of each?
Three of each.
That's a lot of dresses.
And so, like I say, in the exhibits, what we've done is, as opposed to putting all three, because maybe two are just not, strong enough to handle all this travel and things like that. So, we've used one of the gowns, and we're fortunate to have many sets, full sets, 3.
Now, do you also have any of the accessories?
Accessories didn't last as well, the jewelry, the earring, because we always bought not expensive jewelry, so we had like crystals and things like that, so they didn't really last. But we do have some in the exhibit. We have some earrings, we have bras, we have corsets, and we used to wear the Merry Widow.
On stage?
Yeah.
How did you manage?
And see, the reason why we did that was because it gave you a nice waistline. Not that we were so skinny. Okay, we were really skinny. So it wasn't about that. It was just to have a nice line, in the dresses. In one of the boxes when I was unpacking, I found boob pads, breast input, whatever you put it, I had found those. So, there are a lot of things, but we don't use all of that. We had shoes. We had shoes to match every gown. Porte-a-soir, we'd have them dyed to match each dress. If the dresses were pink, we'd have pink porte-a-soir shoes. We had hair pieces, wigs, and usually, and I've got to check here at the Afro-American Museum, we usually have Aquanet. We have a makeup table, and Aquanet is there because that was the favorite hairspray of the day.
Oh, it still is?
Yeah, okay, so we have those. And then we would use Fashion Fair makeup, so you get a feel of that. So there's some hair pieces in there. They don't look very good, but they're there. And something else that I was going to say that I got to make sure. Now, other than the gowns, there are memorabilia. And we endorsed a bread line called Supreme White Bread. So I have the wrappers, and we have the wrappers in the exhibit, which is really, really kind of cool. So with things like that, a lot of pictures, are there. What else is there? But things like that,
That's really cool.
And now let me say this about the gown collection.
Okay, hold on one second.